Art isn't just about the paint on a canvas, it's about the stories, struggles, and the world around us. Arpana Caur is an artist who brings all of that to life. Through her bold, thought-provoking work, she explores identity, history, and social change in a way that feels both personal and universal. From gender and spirituality to climate and culture, her paintings speak to the things that shape our world today. In this conversation, we get to know the artist behind the art, her inspirations, her journey, and the messages she hopes to share. But who is this person behind the art? Let's hear from Arpana herself.
My name is Arpana Caur, born and brought up in Delhi nearly 70 years ago. I began with a group show in 1974 of young artists selected by Hussain. First solo in 1975, in which only one person would come a day because there was no audience in Delhi. And my friends would tease me, when are you having your next one-person show? It was very embarrassing to sit in an empty gallery and your large works. My works were always very large. So I believe in life-size, kind of, not in a picture on the wall. Those can be very charming also, but I always wanted a life-size, larger-than-life feeling in the canvases. And sometimes one had to paint on top of a painting because painting every day is an addiction. So to keep painting, one had to paint on top of a painting or roll that painting up and tuck it away, or if there is a leakage in the ceiling somewhere, use the canvas, and use the frame for making another painting. But my mother always said, never compromise on the quality of canvas and colors, which is why my 50-year-old paintings also have survived, and she's built a museum for them. So it was tough, especially for women artists. Nobody took women artists seriously. Things have changed in the last 20 years. Now they are considered at par with male artists in India. And there is no now differentiation, frankly.
Some journeys aren't just about distance, they're about purpose. Guru Nanak spent his life walking across mountains, deserts, and villages, sharing wisdom about kindness, equality, and peace. Arpana Caur was deeply inspired by these travels, and through her art, she captures his spirit, the endless movement, the devotion, and the message that still echoes today. This piece isn't just about where he went, but why he kept going.
But one work which he acquired was a 6-foot footprint with Guru Nanak's profile in his long robes, holding a stick and travelling. We call them Udasis because he travelled with Mardana and Bala for 54 years. I've been to a lot of places where Guru Nanak went. I've been to the highest airport in the world is Ladakh, Leh, and he went there. He went in Sikkim to the China border where there's not a blade of grass, and he went on foot. I went armed with an oxygen cylinder, accompanying doctor, army vehicle, army wives with me. And Guru Nanak and Mardana went on foot. And he went to places like Afghanistan, where he'd heard that there is to Baghdad also. I was there in Baghdad for their one and only biennale when the bombs were falling. And he went to meet a very enlightened Sufi saint there. And after Guru Nanak left, that Sufi saint never left that seat where Guru Nanak had sat for 60 long years. He sat there, and there's a little Gurdwara that was bombed by the Americans later. I hope they rebuilt it. So even Sri Lanka, Dhaka, everywhere, there's not, in Kashmir, I've seen at least 4 Gurdwaras where he went. So this foot, which is in Dr. Kapani's collection, has a walking Nanak. Because he walked to all these places. I don't know what divine force made him walk. So that's definitely it's called Endless Journeys, I think.
Time is something we all feel, but how often do we really stop and think about it? Arpana Caur's art has always been about exploring that question. Her paintings of day and night capture life's delicate balance, with threads of time weaving through her work. Arpana's book is a beautiful reminder that time can sometimes make us forget to live fully in the moment. She hopes that, like her art, her story will live on, reminding us to slow down and appreciate what really matters.
I was perfectly calm without it. So 30 years ago, I wrote the only story of my life about this man who wears a watch. He's born as a watch in his mother's stomach. He's, ticking away in his mother's stomach, and that everything is geared, whether it's meeting his girlfriend, whether it's his job, everything. And he forgets to look at nature. And one day he's old and he finally sees, he throws away the watch into the sea. Let me see, where's the throwing away of the watch? Is here. And then he is already an old man and he realizes there is nature. So this was done 30 years ago, and this is the book.
Arpana Caur has always been her toughest critic. Despite becoming a renowned artist, she didn't always see her own work as something special. In fact, she was often shy about her art. Over time, though, her approach to both creating and evaluating her paintings has evolved.
Yeah, to be able to paint at your pleasure, your will, I never ever thought that one day I'll be a professional painter, because I was always very shy about not only myself but also about my art. I thought it was very bad. And even now I'm very critical. If I do 10 paintings a year, I classify them as 2 A's, 5 or 6 B's, 2 or 3 C's. And now that I'm getting on in years, I have started with a scissor cutting up the C's so that they don't survive me. So I'm very much a critic of myself, and to be able to, it was like walking on a razor's edge, choosing this path. There were only 2 galleries in Delhi when I began to show.
Arpana Caur also highlights the impactful work of the Sikh Foundation, which has been instrumental in preserving and showcasing Sikh art. With a strong foundation built by her mother and the foundation's passionate involvement, they've brought Sikh art from historic portraits to contemporary works to international stages.
I want to also add about your Sikh Foundation that my mother has built a foundation also, Academy of Fine Arts and Literature, the Sikh Foundation, which your father and you and your mother were so passionate about, housing, Sikh art of right from, say, Maharani Jinda's portrait to the contemporary artists, to having 3-year exhibition in Smithsonian, Washington. And these exhibitions, even currently, they are traveling in museums in America.
As a seasoned artist, Arpana Caur has some valuable advice for those just starting out. While the art world can be tough and competitive, she believes in staying true to yourself and letting your work evolve naturally.
There is a market out there, and frankly, I have never cared about the market. Things, whatever happened very naturally. They flowed naturally, the Bombay exhibition or whatever. And it's just that you have to be true to your inner, because art is about exploration of your inner territory. So every day you are exploring. You're not creating that piece of canvas, one portion of the canvas. I take about a month on a painting. Rather, you're being created in the process. Like, I was a very shy, timid person, and I felt that art is creating me. It's not that I'm creating my painting, that's creating me. So to cherish that freedom, and not given to market forces. I guess it's easier said than done, because I had a supportive mother. A lot of people don't. They have parents who push them to be successful in worldly terms. So millions of people pass out from colleges of art all over India. Very few make it, and the pressure on them is immense. Most give up, or they take teaching jobs, which is the best job to take, because half a day teaching job and then half a day you don't have to depend on the market as such. So it's tough being an artist even today.
Arpana Caur's story shows us how art can be a powerful way to speak up, share personal experiences, and make a difference. Through her paintings, she challenges us to think about the world in new ways and to care about the issues that matter most. Her work reminds us that art isn't just about creating something beautiful. It's about starting conversations, sparking change, and leaving a lasting impact. Arpana's journey encourages us all to embrace our own voice and use it to shape the future.